Look pretty familiar. My name's Ken Coles, and I have to actually explain now that you reminded me. Somebody said, "What happened to SARA?" And I didn't realize that not everybody follows me on Twitter. So SARA and SACA were two groups that were both producer groups. SACA did the conference, the back and forth, and SARA was more known for the field school. So we've merged the two groups, and we're farming smarter now. So, but we learned from our mistakes is really what it comes down to it. We wanted to share just briefly our experiences with the winter pulses, and it's really great to have Kevin up here and everybody here, so we can have some discussions. We're going to get together as a group later for lunch and see where we're going to move forward with this. I'm not one to beat around the bush. I'm a straight shooter. My experience with both winter lentils and winter pulses has been like dating a bipolar supermodel.
When did you do that, Ken?
Not that I have any experience with that, but what I could imagine it would be like, on the good days it's great, and you're proud of walking by with her and she's happy and everybody's like, what the hell is she doing with him, kind of thing. So we've had years like that, and we've had years where she was so bitchy and spent so much money that all I wanted to do was throw her out of a moving truck. So it's been a roller coaster ride for us. At the same time, I know growers have been so excited about the potential of it. And I'll have to say, the last 2 years have reinvigorated my excitement. I was getting pretty depressed. That bipolarness was starting to rub off on me. So we've been playing with them for about 5 years now, and we've actually tried them in other parts of the province, and actually we've had growers try them on sort of 5-acre pieces. But some of the problem was we happened to hit the 2 years where they were really bad. If I had to ask you guys as a grower, how many years out of 10 would you need for this to be successful that you'd be interested in trying it? We got 11, a 9 out of 10, 11. A 10 out of 10. Anybody a little more risk?
More.
Loving? Does it really need to be that good?
Yeah. A few years ago it was easier. We're losing less money. Now you lose 500-600 if you don't grow a rave or a canola crop.
Well, you could reseed in the spring too, right? So would it be 6 out of 10? 7 out of 10? You might start thinking about it. If I had, from my experience, I think we are at that 5 or 6 out of 10 in a dryland situation. I think that we do have the opportunity to improve that with some irrigation. But also what I found is, certainly, and these guys alluded to it, is that there seems to be a pocket around Lethbridge that is better suited. And, I always thought, okay, well, if it works here, then it's got to work in Medicine Hat, because it's warmer, right? We got, what, 2,200 heat units here on the corn heat units, usually on average. Out there's 25. So why does it not work as well out in Medicine Hat? Yeah. Colder winters, and even when you get up into that north of Medicine Hat, guys aren't even all that happy with winter wheat. So that was a bit of a learning curve for me there, in that it's not all about how warm it is. It's the overall conditions. So on a dryland situation a few years back, I'd say that I was more excited about the lentils. The lentils are smaller seed. We had 2009, 2010, I think were both very dry falls. We had a hard time getting things established, but the lentil seeds were so small that even under really dry conditions, we did get them established, and we were actually getting better results with the lentils. However, if you don't get a really good catch like we have here, you've got a spotty lentil crop, and this is not a Clearfield variety. What do you think happens? We had weed issues up the yin-yang, and then if we didn't have weed issues, we had sort of a spotty emergence. When it came to harvest, the harvestability went to hell, because everything sort of fell down and shattered out, and we had some serious issues with shelling and shattering. Last year and this year, I think we had some of the best survival of all variety has survived really quite well. And what's interesting is that the Wyndham variety, which is the one that we've been working with, was the lowest yielding of all of them. So that even kind of gets me excited more, is that we've got more yield potential out there. As long as we can get Kevin to get that survivability up there, I think there's actually a tremendous amount of hope for the crop down the road. But are we there commercially yet when that question came out? Not if you want it 9 out of 10, not if you want it 10 out of 10. Should we keep working on it though?
Yes.
Does everybody agree?
Yes.
All right, funders, you're listening right now. Okay, so this crop here, or this trial here, we wanted to do something a little bit different from what Mark and Ross and them are doing in their study. So this is actually a seeding date study. But what we wanted to do is we thought, you know, we see the guys down in Warner and south of Warner, and when do they usually start seeding in the spring on a year like this? What's the earliest you've heard someone seeding this year?
March 15th.
March 15th, anything lower than that? Sounds pretty early. You tell somebody at Edmonton you're seeding March 15th and see what they say. So I thought, well, okay, we're getting into early March, and you know, lots of times we have open falls. Maybe a winter variety might be good to seed in early spring, so that we, you know, if it has that tolerance, we might be able to survive the frost in the spring, and that seeding in March and February might be an option. So you can come along and take a look at some of the plots. We've had obviously a big difference. Here's what looks better, this one or that one?
From what perspective?
Eh?
From which side? From which perspective?
Everything.
When do you want on your farm?
That's nice brown.
Yeah. So this was actually the late fall seeded one, and it did same thing. We were extremely dry. Same with our winter wheat trials. Anything that we had seeded in the middle of September, early September, sat there and did nothing until the one magic day on October 3rd when it rained about 3 inches. So in our situation, the time of seeding didn't matter, the time of rain mattered. So I mentioned our experiences has been like dating a bipolar supermodel. Overall, over the last 3 years, I can tell you one thing, is that the variability has been massive. I think we've learned a few things, but I think it all depends on the year that we're going to have. I would echo some of the stuff that that Kevin had mentioned too. You know, some of those things that made sense. I have a really good gut feeling that, and it's not rocket science, that fall moisture is important. When the fall moisture happens, I don't know if it's important. You know, stubble height, I've seen some effects, but I don't think that's a key thing either, to be honest with you. So then I'm thinking, okay, so I figured this out. Fall moisture is important. So then we go out to some grower fields, and we do little 5-acre spots. And the only stuff that's actually alive is on the top of the hills. Everything that's in the bottom, where I expect there'd be some moisture, is dead. So I'm thinking, okay, now what do we do? Need better varieties, right? That's always the answer. So agronomically speaking, I think we've learned a fair bit. I think that we still have a fair ways to go. But you think about, you know, and it's nice to have a visual like this. Which one do you like better? But does it do 10 out of 10? Not yet. Can we get there? Hopefully. So let's take a quick look. Any questions right now?